6 a.m. Same airport. 6 different people about to fly to the exact same city today, and not one of them will experience this building the same way. This is one of them. She's been standing in this line for 40 minutes and hasn't even reached security yet. The line snakes back past the check-in counters, past a coffee stand charging $7 for something she could make at home for 30 cents. And nobody in this line is buying it. Everyone's just standing here, doing the same quiet math, shifting their weight, checking the same clock on their phone every 90 seconds like checking it faster will make the line move. Her bag is 50 grams over the limit. The woman behind the counter tells her, without looking up, that she'll need to either pay extra or take something out. She does the math before the sentence even finishes. $45 for the overage, or 10 minutes repacking on the floor of an airport in front of 300 strangers. She takes out her jacket. She'll wear it in 90-degree weather because that's cheaper than the fee. She'll sweat through the terminal, sweat through boarding, and not put it back on until she lands somewhere cold enough to actually need it. This trip matters more than most. Her sister's wedding is in 2 days, and she saved for this ticket for 4 months, moving small amounts into a separate account every payday so she wouldn't be tempted to touch it. She's not thinking about any of that right now. Right now, she's just thinking about the jacket and the heat and getting through this line before she misses anything else today. Nobody around her notices. Nobody's supposed to. This is just what flying looks like when every single dollar has a job to do before it even leaves your account. Ahead of her, a family gets pulled aside for a random bag check. The kid is maybe 4, crying, overwhelmed by the noise and the fluorescent light, and the fact that a stranger in a uniform is going through his backpack of stuffed animals. Nobody explains why it's them, out of 300 people in this line. The parents don't ask either. She doesn't know it yet, but 4 gates away, someone else just woke up for this exact same flight, and his morning looks nothing like hers. He's still asleep when the car arrives. Someone else packed his bag. Someone else printed his boarding pass. Though he won't need to hold it, his phone does that now, automatically, the second he steps into the terminal. He doesn't stand in the check-in line. There isn't one for him. A woman at a small, unmarked counter says his name before he says hers, hands him a card, and points him toward a hallway most people in this airport don't know exists. He's flying to the same city for a meeting he could probably have taken over a video call. He knows that. He's taking the flight anyway, because the client specifically asked to meet in person, and clients who ask for things like that are usually the ones worth keeping. He doesn't think about any of this the way she thinks about her sister's wedding. Not because he's ungrateful, because he's never had to think about the cost of any of it, for as long as he can remember, and things you never have to think about tend to just disappear from your attention completely. Back in the main terminal, the woman in the jacket is only now reaching security. He's already passed it, through a door that opens the second his card is scanned, into a hallway that smells like eucalyptus instead of fast food. 2 versions of the same morning. 12 minutes apart. Neither one has any idea the other exists. Security, for her, means the second line, the real one, the one with the machines, shoes off, belt off, laptop out, liquids in a bag she had to buy at the gift shop because she forgot hers $4 for a Ziploc bag that costs 4 cents anywhere else. 5 minutes. That's how long it takes. Start to finish. Long enough that she's doing math again. This time about whether she'll make her connection. Then a red light blinks on a screen somewhere, and a hand waves her toward a table off to the side. Additional screening. Not because of anything she did. She just got unlucky. And being unlucky, on this side of the airport, costs time she doesn't have. A stranger in gloves goes through her bag, unfolding her clothes one at a time, checking the lining, running a swab along the inside seams while she stands there with her arms crossed, trying to look calm, trying not to look like someone with a wedding to reach in 2 days, even though she is. Everyone walking past glances at her like she might be a problem. She's not a problem. She's just standing in the wrong line at the wrong hour. By the time she's cleared, Her gate has already started boarding without her. She runs, laptop bag bouncing against her hip, through a terminal that seems to have gotten longer since she last checked the signs. And that's when she sees it. A glass door. A guard standing outside it, arms crossed, not even looking at the people rushing past. Through the glass, for exactly 3 seconds, she catches it leather chairs, a man eating something off a plate with actual silverware, a kind of quiet that hasn't existed anywhere else in this building since she arrived at 6 a.m. The door doesn't open for her. It was never going to. She doesn't even slow down. She's learned not to. She has no idea that the man behind that glass, the one with the silverware, boarded his flight 3 hours ago. This isn't even the same lounge anymore. It's the next one. There's always a next one. He's in seat 2A. He hasn't looked at a boarding zone number today because he's never had one. He boarded first. Before the announcement even finished, walked past a line of people already waiting who watched him go by the way people watch something they've stopped being surprised by. A flight attendant asks if he'd like something to drink before the plane has even left the gate. Red or white? He says water. She brings it in a glass, not a cup, with ice that isn't from a machine that's been refilled 40 times today. He opens his laptop, glances at an email about the meeting he's flying in for, then closes it again. He's not worried about this deal the way he used to worry about deals 5 years ago. Back then, every trip felt like it mattered this much, like the woman in the jacket's trip matters to her right now. He doesn't remember exactly when that feeling faded. It just did. Somewhere between his first business trip and this one. Somewhere behind a curtain he's never once looked back through, 200 people are still boarding. He doesn't think about them. It's not cruelty. It's just that the curtain isn't only a curtain. It's the edge of what he's ever had reason to notice. He falls asleep before takeoff. He'll wake up rested, in a city he's never had to run to reach. Back in the main cabin, she makes it. Barely, zone 1, 2, 3, she's zone 7. She boards last, not because she's less important, but because she didn't pay the $11 for priority. And $11 this week was groceries. By the time she reaches her row, the overhead bins are full. She has to gate check the exact bag she spent $45 keeping under the weight limit for. She watches it disappear down the jet bridge and hopes it makes the same flight she does. Inside that bag is the dress she's wearing to the wedding. She doesn't say this out loud to anyone. She just watches the belt carry it away and hopes. She's in the middle seat. Of course she is. Someone's already claimed both armrests. She doesn't say anything. She never does. Somewhere over hour 2, the stranger next to her falls asleep on her shoulder. She doesn't wake him. She just sits there, arm going numb, watching a movie with no sound because she forgot headphones and didn't want to pay $9 for the ones in the seat pocket. This is the version of flying most people will experience their entire lives. Not terrible, not memorable, just survivable. What she doesn't know is that 4 rows ahead of her, behind a curtain, a completely different version of this exact flight is happening. Same plane, same wings, same hour in the air. A world she'll never see. 12 feet from where she's sitting. There's a third person in this story, and she's the one who makes both of the others look almost the same. She's not at this airport at all. She's 40 minutes away, on a private airstrip most passengers driving past on the highway don't even know exists. A car brought her directly from her house. No terminal. No security line. No gate number. She's flying in for the same wedding. Actually a distant cousin of the groom. Someone the bride has met exactly twice. She'll land, attend for perhaps 2 hours, and leave before the dancing starts. Because there's another commitment waiting for her the same evening in a different city entirely. She won't remember the bride's name by next year. The bride will remember, for the rest of her life, that this woman's gift alone covered nearly the entire venue. A jet, 8 seats, no strangers. She's in the air 14 minutes after stepping out of the car. 14 minutes, the exact same amount of time the woman in the jacket spent just standing still in the security line, not moving an inch. She's flying to the same city as the other two, for the same event as one of them. And she will never once see either of their faces, or know they exist, or know that one of them is wearing a dress right now that's sitting in a cargo hold 30,000 feet below where her own jet will eventually pass. Somewhere back in that terminal, a family is still in a security line. A kid is probably crying. A parent is doing math about a baggage fee. None of them will ever know this level exists. Here's the part that doesn't get talked about, and it's the part that's been sitting underneath this entire story the whole time. 3 women. 3 men. 6 people, 3 of them named here, flying to the exact same city on the exact same morning. 2 of them, without ever knowing it, are flying to the exact same wedding. Same distance, same sky, same destination printed on departure boards they may or may not have even had to look at. But one of them will land exhausted, having stood, waited, and been overlooked at every single stage, already behind on a day that hasn't even started yet, still worried about whether her dress survived the cargo hold. Another will land rested, having barely noticed the airport was there at all. And the third will land having never set foot inside the building the other 2 spent their entire morning fighting through. At a wedding she'll leave before most guests have finished their first drink. The airport didn't create this gap. It just happens to be one of the only places left on Earth where every income bracket exists in the same square mile, breathes the same recycled air, and for the ones who are paying attention, reveals exactly how differently the world treats each of them. Most people only ever experience their own level. They never see the 5 others happening in the exact same building, at the exact same hour, under the exact same departures board, sometimes headed toward the exact same room later that same day. The question was never which one of these people you'd rather be. It's whether you'd even notice the other 2, if you were standing right where they were.